in the in faces config. What you can do here, so you can drag and drop some stuff, and it works well. We do it. It synchronizes the code with your backing bean. You can provide your visual navigation. So there's the faces config. I can say, okay, this one navigates to this guy, and it enhances the config. But you have still a lot of XML. If it works with tools, it's great. We built a system for call center where, I don't know, 10 pages with drag and drop. We will already done in I don't know, 2-3 days. If it became too complicated with Ajax, then you have the problem to choose the right component model. This is the huge problem. There is forget what it's ice faces. This one, which is Ajax enabled. You can use that, but it's very hard to write new components for JSF. This is the main problem. And remember, what you could do with JSF and provide your new model view presenter or passive view patterns. What you could do, you can abstract from a backing bean using a view, and this view is nothing else than an interface which exposes getters and setters. So the basic idea of JSF has data binding. So what you can do with JSF is following. You have components, text fields, combo boxes, tables, bind it to a backing bean, and the problem is JDeveloper, Eclipse, or NetBeans generates code. And if someone generates code for you, the code is worthless, because if the tool changes, you have to rewrite or somehow re-import the code. So it's a mission impossible, actually. So what we did, we abstracted the view to an interface, and we work only with that interface from a controller. This was the trick. So the controller got the interface and the business interface from EGB, so we were able to test the whole JSF application without deploying it even. So just the controller, the presentation logic. And this is nothing else the old-fashioned model view controller pattern, renamed by Martin Fowler to model view presenter, killed 2 years ago, and there are 2 additional patterns, supervising controller and passive view. So model view presenter is retired in Java world. On .NET conferences, everyone uses this term, although it is no more there, actually. Yeah? So is layering an anti-pattern? Yeah, it could be. For instance, you have to answer such questions. So if you have DTOs, they're really great for you. Do they work out? Do they decouple something? There is something, leaky abstractions, you know. Yeah, if your customer asks you to provide just additional widget in the UI, yeah, how many layers you have to change? So it was only one, that was great. They are decoupling. Where all layers is something wrong with layering. This is my trick. If I come to a project and ask the architect, just name the essential responsibility of every layer. You say, okay, we have DAOs because it's best practice. So, okay, this is not the main responsibility. So, why we need DAO pattern or, I don't know, abstraction or service, composite service? Ask the question why. This is very, very important from my point of view. Yeah, and how many layers were actually leaky in the past? And I think you can build amazingly complex applications with 2 layers. So well-encapsulated data access layer and or domain objects, even real objects, and just cross-cutting services, that is. Convention over configuration. How much time I have? You know it? No time? Okay. Then let's go. So convention over configuration. I show you how it works. The problem is we have one bean stateless, and it ejects an interface service. It works well. So there is only one implementation. It will be injected for you. The problem is, if you get 2 implementations, you get an error. The server complains, okay, what to do? I don't know. You have 2 possibilities to change it. You can say, provide a bin name in annotation, or you can do it in XML. It's just your choice. Or you can provide the name in the annotations and override it in XML. I do it for tests. For instance, for testing, I have XML files which override the production settings. And for production, I delete my XML files. So this is a trick. So you can combine XML with annotations, but be careful with XML. No one wants it anymore. So I don't like it either. So it's just the problem is not right. The truth is spread to XML and the Java classes. This is the problem. So you have one principle spread to XML and Java. So do we need factories is already answered in previous slides. In EGB3 container, everything is injectable. So actually, factories are gone. And it's the most common questions when we use POJO and when we use EGB3. And my answer is just use EGB3. It's easier. With POJO, you have a little bit infrastructure. And what you can also do, you can, interceptors is something like AOP. I just skipped this. You can provide an interceptor and the interceptor direct access to the Bean instance. So you can very easily integrate with Google Juice. You know Google Juice, a very great framework. Juice, like with G, not J. So Google Juice. And Seam does it exactly the same to enhancing the dependency injection. So I am done. Questions. So I just killed view patterns. It will come more, but we have only 45 minutes, so there is no more time to kill. I've write article on Java World in English. It will come up, I don't know, next week, the EGB Basic. I'm planning to write some more stuff. Questions? Everyone hates DAOs now? No questions? Complicated model. You can do everything you want with JPAs. It's really, really powerful. You can have joints and, I don't know, joint columns, everything you want. There is actually not the limit in relations. The limit is probably queries. In one project, we had to use native queries. But relation between entities, this is not a problem. And if the power is not enough, if your database looks like crap, what you can do, you can provide views. This is one trick, and map your JPA entities to the views. Just one recommendation as well. Great question. Other questions?
What is that? Are you sure this possible to eliminate the client object in case if you have a rich model, oriented model of the entities?
A rich model, you mean you have methods, right?
You know, you don't want to expose all of the methods to the client.
You can provide interfaces. Okay, this is the solution. The real problem with that, no one asked the question, is lazy loading. If your developers do not get lazy loading, you have to build DTOs to force them to eager load, but this is a workaround. Or be stateful. Extended entity manager. There is one mode in entity manager where all entities remain attached. This is a sophisticated topic, but then you can navigate, at least in JSF, Wicked, and server-centric frameworks inside the relations.
Okay, what about if you have those interfaces? Is it the risk that you will have another hierarchy of interfaces next to the hierarchy of entities?
Yeah, something like this. Or just... yeah, but interface is better than DTO with getters and setters. So there's a less redundant stuff. Yeah, and the next problem is with rich domain objects. It's not the problem not exposing methods. The project is computation of delta. If someone invokes the method on the client and your whole object graph is changed, you do not actually know what happened. This is your real problem. You probably do not know this now, but this is the real challenge, actually. Computing the delta. So, yeah. From Java 5 to Java 6 as no effort. Exactly the same. Yeah. And the next story is how to upgrade from EGB2 to EGB3. I got a great contract, 2 weeks, to provide consulting work. And actually, I just deployed EGB2 to EGB3, and then you can invoke from EGB3, EGB2 components in one jar. We were done in 2 hours. And I didn't lose the contract because of budget. I did some training, coaching, and drawing, But it is very well. What you can do, you can deploy EGB2 beans and integrate them very well with EGB3. Actually, you can deploy EGB3 with remote interfaces, home interface, and everything you want. This is the trick.
And are you able to run 5.0 extensions on the platform that uses JDK6?
Yeah, JDK6 is not a problem. JDK 5.0 is not. JDK 1.4 is a problem because there are no annotations. Great. Perfect. Question get better and better. Other questions?